Stills for Miracles Everywhere, and we're on ACIM Gathers. Good to be here. Happy to be here, and welcome everyone. Nice little house here we have, and everyone on Pal Talk, welcome, and on the radio, welcome already. I'm going to play a song, and then we're going to get into the lesson of the day, and that's what we'll do today. And we'll discuss it. And anyone has anything they want to say, please raise your hand, and if I see you. If I don't see it, then just start talking. Just means I'm not on the page. I'm reading something, and I have it on the lesson page or on a text page, and I don't know that you're raising your hand. So feel free just to butt in and say, "Hey, shush," and just talking. It's fine. Until then, here's the song. It's instrumental. I like it. It's called uh, "Dreaming of the Mystery." Dreaming of the Mystery, sacred music. So, oh wait a minute. Of course, I have to do the. I have to do the. I gotta share my sound. So let me just take a second and do that. Right. All right. Done so. Let's go back here now. Let's just go back. All right. So once again, Dreaming of the Mystery, sacred music by the Gregorian lounge artists. This is a Gregorian chant of sorts. Dreaming of the Mystery. Dreaming of the Mystery. Gregorian lounge artists. Is that a great name for a band? The Gregorian lounge artists. Awesome. All righty, lesson 186. Salvation of the world depends on me. Let's give it a listen, shall we?
Lesson 186. Salvation of the world depends on me. Here is the statement that will one day take all arrogance away from every mind. Here is the thought of true humility, which holds no function as your own but that which has been given you. It offers your acceptance of a part assigned to you without insisting on another role. It does not judge your proper role. It but acknowledges the will of God is done on earth as well as heaven. It unites all wills on earth in heaven's plan to save the world, restoring it to heaven's peace. Let us not fight our function. We did not establish it. It is not our idea. The means are given us by which it will be perfectly accomplished. All that we are asked to do is to accept our part in genuine humility and not deny with self-deceiving arrogance that we are worthy. What is given us to do, we have the strength to do. Our minds are suited perfectly to take the part assigned to us by one who knows us well. Today's idea may seem quite sobering until you see its meaning. All it says is that your Father still remembers you and offers you the perfect trust he holds in you who are his Son. It does not ask that you be different in any way from what you are. What could humility request but this? And what could arrogance deny but this? Today we will not shrink from our assignment on the specious grounds that modesty is outraged. It is pride that would deny the call for God himself. All false humility we lay aside today that we may listen to God's voice reveal to us what he would have us do. We do not doubt our adequacy for the function he will offer us. We will be certain only that he knows our strengths, our wisdom, and our holiness. And if he deems us worthy, so we are. It is but arrogance that judges otherwise. There is one way, and only one, to be released from the imprisonment your plan to prove the false is true has brought to you. Accept the plan you did not make instead. Judge not your value to it. If God's voice assures you that salvation needs your part, and that the whole depends on you, be sure that it is so. The arrogant must cling to words, afraid to go beyond them to experience, which might affront their stance. Yet are the humble free to hear the voice which tells them what they are and what to do. Arrogance makes an image of yourself that is not real. It is this image which quails and retreats in terror as the voice for God assures you that you have the strength, the wisdom, and the holiness to go beyond all images. You are not weak, as is the image of yourself. You are not ignorant and helpless. Sin cannot tarnish the truth in you, and misery can come not near the holy home of God. All this the voice for God relates to you, and as he speaks, the image trembles and seeks to attack the threat it does not know, sensing its basis crumble. Let it go. Salvation of the world depends on you and not upon this little pile of dust. What can it tell the Holy Son of God? Why need he be concerned with it at all? And so we find our peace. We will accept the function God has given us, for all illusions rest upon the weird belief that we can make another for ourselves. Our self-made roles are shifting, and they seem to change from mourner to ecstatic bliss of love and loving. We can laugh or weep, and greet the day with welcome or with tears. Our very being seems to change as we experience 1,000 shifts in mood, and our emotions raise us high indeed, or dash us to the ground in hopelessness. Is this the Son of God? Could he create such instability and call it Son? He who is changeless shares his attributes with his creation. All the images his Son appears to make have no effect on what he is. They blow across his mind like wind-swept leaves that form a patterning an instant, break apart to group again, and scamper off, or like mirages seen above a desert rising from the dust. These unsubstantial images will go, and leave your mind unclouded and serene when you accept the function given you. The images you make give rise to but conflicting goals, impermanent and vague, uncertain and ambiguous. Who could be constant in his efforts, or direct his energies and concentrated drive toward goals like these? The functions which the world esteems are so uncertain that they change 10 times an hour at their most secure. What hope of gain can rest on goals like this? In lovely contrast, certain as the sun's return each morning to dispel the night, your truly given function stands out clear and wholly unambiguous. There is no doubt of its validity. It comes from one who knows no error, and his voice is certain of its messages. They will not change nor be in conflict. All of them point to one goal, and one you can attain. Your plan may be impossible, but God's can never fail because He is its source. Do as God's voice directs, and if it asks a thing of you which seems impossible, remember who it is that asks and who would make denial. Then consider this: which is more likely to be right? The voice that speaks for the Creator of all things, who knows all things exactly as they are, or a distorted image of yourself, confused, bewildered, inconsistent, and unsure of everything? Let not its voice direct you. Hear instead a certain voice which tells you of a function given you by your Creator, who remembers you and urges that you now remember Him. His gentle voice is calling from the known to the unknowing. He would comfort you, although He knows no sorrow. He would make a restitution, though He is complete, a gift to you, although He knows that you have everything already. He has thoughts which answer every need His Son perceives, although He sees them not. For love must give, and what is given in His name takes on the form most useful in a world of form. These are the forms which never can deceive, because they come from formlessness itself. Forgiveness is an earthly form of love, which, as it is in heaven, has no form. Yet what is needed here is given here as it is needed. In this form, you can fulfill your function even here, although what love will mean to you when formlessness has been restored to you is greater still. Salvation of the world depends on you who can forgive. Such is your function here.
Okay. All righty. Lesson 186. And then working for students and Course in Miracles. All righty. So how you doing, everyone? How's it going? Good to see you all. Nice to be here. Good to be back. This is my first week back, as you can say, since for a mini absence, and so I'm going to get to it here. I'm going to read as usual. I'm going to read the first paragraph, and we'll talk about each paragraph as I read it. Salvation of the world depends upon. Actually, I wanted just to say one thing first before I started in section 12. It's funny. I'm reading the impersonal life, and this is a great example of how the voices are saying the same thing or at least similar, very similar, and the difference in the voices of the straightforwardness, in other words, how the bluntness of, and this is the sense of humor of Jesus. I mean, the voice that's who asks you, they consider this, which is more likely to be right? The voice that speaks for the creator of all things, who knows all things exactly as they are, or a distorted image of yourself, confused, bewildered, inconsistent, and unsure of everything? That's a typical question that he would ask you. And obviously, it's a self-evident question because the answer is obvious. And it's almost as if it's like I don't want to say sarcastic. It's a weird thing to ascribe to Jesus, but it's borderline. It's like a joke question. It's rhetorical, I guess you could say, because it's obviously the answer there. And then you hear instead a certain voice which tells you of a function given to you by your Creator, which remembers you and urges you now to remember Him. So he's saying to you, who do you trust, yourself or God? Yourself or Him? When it comes to this course is Jesus, or it's the higher power from within yourself. And who are you going to trust? Your ego or Christ? That's what he's asking you. Now, obviously, the answer is Christ. It might be easier said than done, perhaps, but that's the obvious answer. I just thought it was kind of cool. All right, that's what's the beginning. Here is a statement that will one day take all arrogance away from every mind. Here is the thought of true humility, which holds no function as your own, but that which has been given to you. It offers you acceptance of a part assigned to you without insisting on another role. It does not judge your proper role, but acknowledges the will of God is done on earth as well as in heaven. It unites all wills on earth in heaven's plan to save the world and restore it in heaven's peace. Here's a statement that will one day take all arrogance away from the mind. Now, salvation in the world depends on me. You would think that's kind of arrogant when you first read it. It's like, oh, excuse-moi. Salvation of the world depends on me. Now, the me is not the me that we see. Nick Sanchez calls it the mythical me. The mythical me. The me that's not really here is not the me that's being talked about here. I mean, you could see the me as a capital M. I know it's not capitalized here. That's just the way it was written. But mythical me is not the me that's being talked about. The me here is here all areas away from my mind. My mind is being taken away from it moves you from the wrong mind to the right mind. And the right mind is not my mind. My mind means the body's mind. It's not the mind, it's not the manifestation that I can see. Anything I can see, touch, feel, hear, taste, it's not there. I was thinking this weekend, I don't know, I mean, the last couple of days, actually, it's Thursday, so it was actually probably Monday or Tuesday. I was thinking, it was Tuesday, it was after I was here. It's not so much that the illusion is not here. I mean, that's what it is, but it's not so much nothing is here, as much as unity is here. It's separation or unity. It's not necessarily there's nothing here or something here. It's unity is here. Oneness is here. Unification or separation. The separation is the lie. Unity is the only thing here. Peace is the only thing here. Abundance is the only thing here. Health is the only thing here. And that because health is the opposite of unhealth. There's no such thing as non-health. There's no such thing as sickness. These things don't actually have any reality to them because they represent destruction, fragmentation, stuff that's what's not here. The unification, the wholeness, that's what's here. We were once absolutely perfect, and we still are. But we've fallen, in a sense, so far away from that perspective of ourselves. As it says further on down here, we worship physicality of it all. We worship the words, as opposed to going for the experience of the higher power, experience of Jesus, experience of the Holy Spirit, experiencing God. I'm not talking about any particular God, I'm talking about the God within. Experiencing yourself, your true self. Let us not fight our function. We did not establish it. It is not our idea. This means, the means are given to us by which it will be perfectly accomplished. All we are asked to do is to accept our part in genuine humility and not to deny with self-deceiving arrogance that we are worthy. What is given to us to do, we have the strength to do. Our minds are suited perfectly to take the part assigned to us by one who knows us well. Let's not fight our function. What good is it to fight our function? Why would we want to fight your function? It's stupid. It's like, what was it, like fighting eating. I mean, what's the point? Sure, eating is magic, but it's not exactly the type of magic you want to do away with at this point. Right now, our function is in this world is to eat, sleep, and our true function, we're saying here, our true function is not in this world. Our true function is to get in touch with the God of absence. Absence, not here. God is absent from this world. Essentially, the God, true God, the God from deep within, is absent from this world. This world is essentially separated. God is unified, and the unified whole has no contact with the individuality of it all. You live in individual pieces. That's our perfection. Where we really are and where we're going to end up. Our function is to reattach as a piece of God, as a piece of light, is reattached with other pieces of light. By sharing love, by loving others, by caring for others, being peaceful to the best we can. That's all. That means that if you don't do that, then your arrogance kicks in. I don't have to. I can do whatever I want here. I don't have to. I don't have to. I can just sit back and I can just roll with it. See what happens. I'll just decide this on one day. I'll do this on another day. Meanwhile, what happens then is that the world, you become an effect. You become the effect of the people around you. If you don't make choices for yourself, which is to say, if you don't make the choice to move into yourself, the people make the choices for you and move you into their ego. Or move you into your own ego. You cannot fight your function here. Your function is to know Christ, to know your right mind, which you can get from this book. Then you move past the book. Allow yourself to move into the words, move past the words, and by understanding the idea behind the words. Remember, what you want to do, and I heard Ken talk about this once, you want to make all the words in this book your thoughts. All the words in this book your thought process. Now, once they're in there, they kind of intermingle with each other, the thoughts of the book. You become part of your process, your process of thinking. They come up in your life. They intermingle with your life. That's how the course becomes individualized. Everyone has an individualized life in level 2. And our job, our function, is to interact with the sonship. In return to our former glory as one being, one Son, one God, one body, one spirit, one mind. And by body, I mean fully aware that the body is no different than the spirit, no different than the mind. There's only one. There's only one. There's only a singularity. One singularity, one thing. And our function is here to know that. And the way to get to know that is, what does the course say? Become aware that there is no world. Because the world is separation. Now, I'm going to read on because a lot is said in this text here. In the workbook. Today's idea may seem quite sobering until you see its meaning. All it says is that your Father still remembers you and offers you the perfect trust. Now, I'm going to say, it does not ask you to be different in any way from what you are. What could humility request but this? And what could arrogance deny but this? Today, we will not shrink from our assignment on the species on the suspicious ground on the species ground that modesty is outraged. It is pride that would deny the call for God Himself. Today's idea might seem quite sobering until you see its meaning. All it says that your Father still remembers you. Well, stop there and just say, really, Father still remembers you. Father. Jesus doesn't say, I still remember you, but the Holy Spirit remembers you. We know that. Very often we talk about, well, what about the Father? Does He know we're here? Did He have anything to do with our creation? Well, Jesus makes it very clear here. The Father remembers us. The universal God, the transcendent God, somehow has a clue to who we are. And He offers us perfect trust. The perfect trust He holds in you who are we, He has in us. We are His Son. And He remembers what we used to be. He sees where we are and He remembers where we used to be. He remembers our perfection. He remembers where we were once. The perfect effect. Perfect creation. I mean, since we still are, but we once knew it. We once knew we knew it. It does not ask you. The Father's not asking us to be any different than who we are. What could humility request but this? So it's not this body walking around here. The feelings that the body has are in the body. And it asks us to be different in any way from who we are. Who are we? Well, we're both level 1 and level 2. Level 2 is not something you can just throw away. The way you face who you are is you have to admit where you are. When we think we are. Let go of where we think we are, and then where we are is where we are. And that's who we are. What was that? I heard a blink. We also hear me, right?
Yes, we do still hear you.
Good.
Karen has her hand up.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Rev Wayne. Happy to
Hey,
see you back.
yeah, thank you. It was good to see you.
I
What's
like
up?
this question that you're asking. What am I? And I like the in the workbook and the last question in part 2 of the workbook, what am I? The first sentence, he says, I am God's son, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of his love. So I think it's interesting when I was listening to Keith Kavanaugh, and there was a guy that said, when I die, I'm going to become spirit. When I die, I'm going to become spirit. And Keith said, no, 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 no. You're spirit now. You don't have to die to become spirit. You're spirit now.
You're right.
And I just thought that was so great that he, because a lot of people do believe and think that, that we are a body, that we are this body, that I am this body, but we're spirit now. The truth of who we are is spirit. And, sometimes we just need to be reminded. So, and not only we're perfect, whole, and complete. And this is a beautiful lesson. I'm so grateful you're reading it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And we are spirit now. And perhaps in the next life, we'll become more aware of that we're spirit. But that's the key, is it's our awareness of who we are, and where we are, what we are. As opposed to thinking that we can be a body now and then we'll be. But the fact is, once we're fully aware that we're spirit, and once we're fully aware of who we really are, there won't be no death. So the idea that death has to be there for us to move on to a higher place is ridiculous. Death was not. It's not as if all my trials, Lord, will soon be, will soon be forgotten, and I'll be at peace. It's not like that. It's more death. People say death's a part of life. Death is against life, obviously. Death puts an end to life. That's the whole idea of death. death against it. That says no to life. So if you see it that way, then death is the enemy. Now death's not there. There's no real death there. So I'm not worried about death. I'm not afraid of death. But the belief in death is the problem. The belief in the body is the problem. The belief in level 2 is the problem. But you can't, and you can. I look around and I say, when I see a graveyard, I immediately say that's a hoax. And now when I see a graveyard, I think of God. I think of the truth. I see a graveyard. I say there's no death. I think of no death. I think of immortality. I don't think of mortality. I think of immortality. The same way people who see the cross, they don't see an ancient death penalty. They see immortal life. They see eternal life. If they believe that kind of thing, that's so it's similar. What was I? Yeah, 3. I think. Yes. So, not sure 4. All false humility we lay aside today, that we may listen to God's voice reveal to us what He could have us do. We do not doubt our adequacy or for the function He will offer us. He will certainly He will be certain only that He knows our strength, our wisdom, and our holiness. And if He deems us worthy, so we are. It is but arrogance that judges us otherwise. So if all of this false humility comes from that we don't think that we're worthy of being who we are. We just run away from who we think we are. God can't. I have to do what I want to do. I do what I want to do, and then I can pretend that the reason is that I'm vulnerable, I'm scared, I can't, I wish I could. Pity me, pity me, pity me. When I got this last 10 days, I walked around, I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I was going to figure out how I can handle this sort of thing. What can I do? I had I needed some time off to get my head around this. And now I feel great. Man, I'm walking better now. Parkinson's is a strange thing like that. Up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm playing with my medicine. I'm playing with my little brain thing. I'm playing around with stuff now, and I'm feeling good. I'm playing with the magic. I'm putting some magic. I'm going down on some magic. But I'm very well aware that the separation that is this dis-ease is what's not there. There's only health here. There's only health. And not only is health here, what that really means is something very interesting. It means that doctors tend to work by focusing on the disease as opposed to focusing on how health works. Isn't that interesting? Health is the only reality there, though. There's no disease there. Disease is the absence of health. So they're focusing on nothing. That's why the disease is so with us. Doctors focus on what's not there and try to get rid of it. Meanwhile, they're not focusing on health, which is really the only thing that's really there in the first place. If you want to get rid of darkness, you focus on the light, figure out what light is, and you try to make more of it. You get rid of darkness by swinging at it. You study the light. You face the darkness, fine. You face it, it's dark in here. What do I do? You reach out for the light. You reach out for the sunshine, and the sunshine builds up. You hold hands with people in the dark, and the more hands you hold, the more light there is. You realize the only way to get the light in the room is to hold hands. You study the light says hold hands. There's nothing to play with in the darkness. And that's what you learn when you face your fears. You realize your fears dissolve the closer you get to them. The more you're watching, the more you see them, they all dissolve into the nothingness from which they came. And all you're left with is peace and insights. We will be certain only that He knows, God knows, our strengths, our wisdom, and our holiness, our innocence. And if he dreams us worthy, so we are. It deems us worthy, so we are. If arrogance teaches otherwise. There is only one way and only one to be released from the imprisonment that you plan to prove the false. I'm sorry. There's only one way and only one to be released from the imprisonment. Your plan to prove the false is true has brought you. Accept the plan that you didn't make instead. Judge not your value. Judge not your value to it. If God's voice assures you that salvation needs your part, the whole world depends on you. Be sure that this is so. The arrogant must cling to words, afraid to go beyond them, to experience what might affront their stance. You are humbled, free. You are humbled, free to hear the voice which tells you that they are what they are and what to do. All right. There is only one and only one to be released from the imprisonment your plan to prove the false is true has brought you. Accept the plan that you didn't make instead. Now that's the key right there. We have a hard time accepting plans that we didn't make. Accepting point of views that we didn't choose. Accepting perceptions that we didn't make, that we didn't create for ourselves. It's one thing that somebody influences our opinions. It's one thing to have somebody say, hey, why don't you look at it this way? And you make a choice. It's another thing to deal with God, who owns you, who's the total cause, and you're the total effect. We didn't like that. We didn't want that. So we said, no. We want to own. We want to do. We want to be a cause. We set up this whole game. That's why it's here. We can be the gods. Accept the plan you did not make instead. Judge not your value to it. If God's voice assures you that salvation needs your part, and the whole world depends on you, be sure it's so. There's this quote in Job, book of Job, which I love. And he's all bummed out because he's buried by God, and he says, well, if God says I'm wrong, how can I be right? What was he saying? Jesus is saying right here. He's saying, accept the plan they make. And don't judge you. Don't value. Don't. What you? It's God's voice. Assures you that salvation needs your part, and that the whole world depends upon you. Be sure that you can be sure it's so. The arrogant must cling to words, afraid to go beyond them to experience what. Now, the arrogant people. It's arrogant to say, I don't want to experience that. I'm afraid because it goes against what I want. It goes against the POV that I put together. I don't want to be the effect of you, God. Eat from the tree. I ate from that tree for a reason. I want to make my own plan. I want to be like you. And I was promised. If I ate that apple, I'd be just like you. To the hell with it. I want here, not there. Arrogance makes an image of yourself that is not real. Arrogance is like closing your eyes. I'm going to read it first. In this image, which quails and retreats in terror, as the voice of God assures you that you have strength. The wisdom and holiness goes beyond all images. You are not weak as a self-image of yourself. You are not ignorant and helpless. Sin can tarnish the truth in you. I'm sorry, sin cannot tarnish the truth in you, and misery can come not near the holy name of God. Arrogance makes the image of yourself that's not real. Image, what does that mean, image? It means what you can see around you. There's all images. It makes a little construct. It makes your self-construct. And it's not real. So what you see is the sensorial world through your senses, or up to your own body, to your knees, your toes, your fingers, your eyes, your nose, your chin, your hair, everything. Not there. Why? Because you're naming things. If you name your ears as ears and your hair as hair, you're two separate things there. Wrong. The more you tell yourself this, the more you say, all right, my nose or my hand, 5 fingers. All right, now that's separated. Every finger has a name. There's a middle finger, there's a ring finger, there's a pinky, there's a pointed finger, and a thumb. All right, so that's wrong. Separation, that's not true. How do you fix that? Well, the space between each finger is also not there because the space is what makes the fingers seem separate. So your finger, the name, and that name is not is a manifestation, is an image that I'm projecting. The finger is and so is the space. The space itself is a projection, is a thought. So there's no different than so if you have no name for anything, everything is just energy. Everything's connected to everything else. When you look at your hand, the fingers and the space are no different, and you have no name for colors. What you're looking at, everything, and there's no depth, because depth implies separation. Everything is just one. Everything is the same. Everything and everyone is the same. When I saw them from a distance, everyone looks the same, everyone is the same. Everyone does the same things. And we're walking around if we have morbid individualism. I'm me and you're you. I'm being attacked by you. I'm better than you. No one's doing anything like that. It appears that way because we have no clue what's going on. Sin cannot tarnish the truth in you and in me. And misery cannot come near the holy, innocent home of God. Innocence can't be tarnished by guilt. Guilt's the absence of innocence. And since there's no such thing actually as the absence of innocence, there's no such thing as the absence of light. And the abstraction of these things is everywhere all the time. And so we find our peace, we will accept the function that God has given us. For all the illusions rest upon the weird belief that we can make another for ourselves. Our self-made roles are shifting, and they seem to change from mourner to ecstatic bliss of love and loving. We can laugh or weep, and greet the day with welcome or with tears. Our very being seems to change as we experience 1,000 shifts in mood, and our emotions raise raise us high indeed, or dash us to the ground in hopelessness. And so we find peace. We will accept the function as God's given us. For all illusions rest upon this weird belief that we can make another for ourselves. All right, so we can't do that, obviously. We think we can. We think we can make a world separate from God. We think we can make a separated situation. We can't, which is possible. So a weird belief. Strange is very strange. Our self roles are shifting, and they seem to change from morning to. In other words, we're a roller coaster ride, and we don't want to be on one. We don't know that we're on one. There's one thing to go to an amusement park and put yourself deliberately on a roller coaster. But if you're just chilling out and you're on a roller coaster, you have no idea. That's bad. That's dangerous. You have no idea you're on a roller coaster. You're not even holding on. People falling off left and right. I mean, is this a son of God? Could he create such instability and call it son? He who is changeless shares his attributes and transformation. All the images his son appears to make have no effect on what he is. They blow across his mind like wind-swept leaves that form a patterning an instant, break apart to group again and scamper off. Or like images seen above a desert, rising from the dust. Is this the Son of God? Another rhetorical question, but I'll answer it. No. Could he create such instability and call it son? Does God put you on a roller coaster without telling you? Would God put you on a roller coaster and not tell you? No. He was changeless. He shares with creation. His creation. He shares stability with you. God is stable, so we are stable. God is peace, so we are peace. God is joy, so we are joy. God is love, so we are love. God is good, so we are good. I said this for years with my kids growing up. That was the prayer we said before they went to bed every night. Every night I used to say, all right, ready, guys? Time to go to bed. God is love, so we are love. And then repeat it. I say, God is peace, so we are peace. God is joy, so we are joy. God is goodness, so we are goodness. God is fun, so we are fun. God is pleasure, so we are pleasure. And then it was that's the Son of God. Knows that he is a high being. He is, as Karen said, we are spirit now. We are one with everything now. And the more you get in contact with that, the more you can see that everything's a thought. Even distance between you and that which you see, think is separate from yourself. There's no distance between you and anything else. There's only the thought of distance. There's the thought of distance. There's the thought of distance between you and that which you think is distance from yourself. If you think of it that way, there's no difference between you and the thought of distance, and that which you think is separate from yourself. There's no difference. The difference only is that which you've told yourself, because you've named things. But the name you've given things have no meaning. We learned that in the first lesson of this entire course. We're not giving meaningful names to anything. We're using our naming ability to separate everything. We would do well to forget what everything is called, to forget everything even has a name. But that scares us too much. We call that Alzheimer's, and it really scares the crap out of us. We want to get there by choice, rather than have it happen to us, not realizing that it's all a choice. Parkinson's disease didn't happen to me. It was an unconscious choice. Unconscious meaning I just did really, really fast without looking at it. I don't feel guilty. Why? Because there's no guilt in a dream. You can't be guilty in a dream. You can be insane, but you can't be guilty for being insane. You can't be found guilty for being insane. You can only be found miserable. That's up to you. In lovely contrast, certain as the sun's return each morning to dispel the night, your truly given function stands out clearly and wholly unambiguous. There's no doubt of its validity. It comes from one who knows no error, and his voice is certain of his messages. They will not change nor be in conflict. All of them point to one goal, the one you can attain. Your plan may be impossible, but God's never failed. God's never failed because he is its source. In lovely contrast, certain as the sun's return each morning to dispel the night, your truly given function stands out as clear, unambiguous. So, what you got to do, expressing love, sharing love, transforming your consciousness from fear to love, we can do that. We can connect to a higher power. We can connect to the center. It's very doable. Look what we've done. We've miscreated the entire world of separation. Jesus is very clear, especially in chapter 31, I think. We can do this. We've already done this. We've done a lot. We've got a lot of power. We just don't know we've done this. But if we realize how powerful we really are, every thought we have is out there. We just cut ourselves off from that and say, oh, it's out there, and no one else put them out there. But that's not the case. There's no doubt of it. It comes from the one who knows no error, and his voice is certain in its messages. They will not change nor be in conflict. All of them point to one goal and one you can attain. Your plan may be impossible. God can never fail because your plan, your point of view. what you want, what you think you want. Your small self's perspective might be impossible. But what God's got planned for you, your true plans, not only are they possible, not only are they doable, but you're going to end up doing them anyway. So you might as well come in the easy way as opposed to the hard way. The cops always say they come in the easy way or the hard way, you're coming in. Well, you're coming in. So do as the voice directs, and is asked the thing of which seems impossible. Remember who it is that asks. Who would make denial? Remember who's asking it this time. Your point of view, a joke. God's point of view might seem impossible. Your point of view is one that can't be done. God's point of view, you take it on. I mean, your point of view is I'm a weak, pathetic joke. It's my point of view, right? My small body's point of view. The body represents everything that's physical. One lifer. I'm here and I'm dying, and that's the end of it. Crucifixion mentality. It's easier. I'm not responsible for anything. Difference between guilt and responsibility. Responsibility means you're willing to enjoy life. And you're willing to take responsibility for God's plan for yourself, for the Holy Spirit's plan for you. Consider this, which is more likely to be right? The voice that speaks for your creator of all things, who knows all things exactly as they are? Or the sort of image of yourself, confused, bewildered, inconsistent, and unsure of everything. Now, we already went over that, but still, it's great the way he does that, because what he's saying, he's showing you the black and whiteness of it all. Either he shows God, the Spirit, who's right there with you. God's right there with you. God's right there. He's the answer to every. God has everything you possibly want or need. That's why God's good. You want it, God's got it. You need it, God's got it. You have a question, God knows the answer. You're challenged by something, God has the solution. And he's right there with you. Just like 1 + 1 is 2. Before you knew that, the answer was still right there. You discover it, uncover it. The voice that speaks for the creator of all things, who knows all things exactly as they are, or you trust yourself. Here instead a certain voice which tells you of a function given to you by your creator, who remembers you and urges you to remember him. The little voice inside your head, that still small voice, that say, remember me. I'm your right mind. I'm your divine mind. His gentle voice is calling the known and the unknowing. He can comfort you, although he knows no sorrow. Shows you how we should comfort other people. We don't have to become sorrow, get into their sorrow with them. Instead, we share the peace. We share the health, the only reality. We share that. Health is contagious. Health is what's contagious. Peace is what's contagious. Joy is contagious. It's the only reality. Forgiveness is an earthly form of love, which as it is in heaven, has no form. No, wait. I'm sorry. He would make a restitution. He has thoughts which answer every need the son perceives, although he sees them not. For love must give, and what is given in his name takes on the form most useful to the world of form. That's great. So for love must give, the light must give of itself. It must shine in the darkness, shines away darkness. That's what light does. Love shines away fear, is what it does. For love must give, that's what love does. And when it is given in the name, in his name, in God's name, as opposed to you trying to learn how to love people in your own name, meaning your own body's name, what is given in his name takes on the form most useful in the world of form. So work with where you are. We are in the world of form. And the world of form is a manifestation of abundance, manifestation of health, manifestation of joy, peace, and pleasure, and goodness, and love. Love must give. Joy gives. Peace gives. Goodness gives. And perfect timing here, because I have one more paragraph to go. These are the forms which never can deceive, because they are the formless. It's formless. They are formlessness itself. So they come from the highest. Now, how that is, what that means for you or me, it's individualized. It might mean that what's best for me is a humble little life in one of those small little mini houses in the backwoods somewhere. And it might mean for this person over here, which is where he was raised, a nice giant apartment in Park Avenue, Manhattan. That's why you have to come from God's point of view. God knows exactly what you need. Forgiveness is an earthly form of love, which is as it is in heaven, has no form. The formlessness comes. Yet what is needed here is given here as is needed. In this form, you can fulfill your function even here. Although what love will mean to you, when formlessness has been restored to you, is greater still. Salvation of the world depends on what you can forgive, such as your function here. All right, so our function is to forgive. Formlessness, when we get to formlessness and bliss and joy, that's going to be the highest level. True oneness. Even father and son will be. The concepts of father and son, cause and effect, will not be even recognized in the end, because all we're going to have is absolute oneness. Dichotomies, gone. Up and down, gone. Left and right, gone. Concept of linear time, gone. Vertical time, gone. All concepts of other. Consciousness, gone. If consciousness without being conscious of something, that's immediate duality. What is needed here is given here as needed. In this form, you can fulfill your function even here. Although what love will mean to you, when formlessness has been restored, is greater still. So go for it. Ask God to give you the forms that you think that you want or need. Preferably, whatever you imagine for yourself, ask God to give you more than that, more than you can imagine for yourself. Whatever He can imagine for you, which is always going to be more than what you can imagine for yourself. God replace what I imagine for myself with what you can imagine for me. It's greater than anything I can think for myself. All right. Well, thank you so much for being around here and listening to my divine rantings, everybody. I hope I've been of help to you. It's now 12:30 Eastern. Central time. It's 1:30 Eastern. My time is up. I will see you back here on Monday at 4 Eastern. God bless everyone here. Thank you so much. And until then, peace.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you so much, Rev Wayne. Still so grateful for you, and happy Independence